Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. For those of you who are watching me for the very first time, my name is James Ambroise, and on this channel we cover how to pay off debt faster than any other debt repayment method out there. We cover basic bookkeeping and accounting for someone who just started out a small business. We cover basic personal income tax to include a Schedule C, Schedule E, depreciation. I am also the author, creator of Ambroise Method 1.0 and Ambroise Method 2.0. Ambroise Method is a revolutionary debt repayment method that offers greater results in terms of reducing interest cost compared to debt snowball, debt avalanche, velocity banking. Real quick about my credentials, I have been or am a bookkeeper and accountant, QuickBooks Pro advisor, senior tax advisor, residential real estate investor, residential property manager, financial coach. And as always, before we get started with what's on the board, please allow me to shout out the name Jesus, my Lord, my God, my Creator. Thank you. All right, America, on the board we have this hypothetical scenario of somebody who filled out one of my Microsoft Excel worksheets, and the person provided me with these figures. For that, this person has a Wells Fargo credit card, PenFed ELOC, Regions Personal Loan. Okay. Credit limit 6,000, APR 18%, balance owed $5,580, monthly payment charge $139.50. Availability, America, we've learned on lesson one that the availability is the relationship between the credit limit and the balance owed. That relationship calls for a subtraction operation. 6,000 minus $5,580. That's how we arrive at 420. Okay. Credit utilization. Credit utilization is the relationship between the balance owed and the credit limit. That relationship calls for a division operation. $5,580 divided by $6,000. That's how we arrive at 93%. Okay. Payment rate charge. Payment rate charge is the relationship between the monthly payments charged and the balance owed. That relationship calls for a division operation. $139.50 divided by $5,580. That's how we arrive at 2.50%. Okay. Now, on the Wells Fargo credit card, Wells Fargo is not currently offering any balance transfer. Okay. On the PenFed ELOC, it is a 1020 PenFed ELOC, which means the first number represent the draw period, the next number represent the repayment period. So 10-year draw, 20 years repayment. And right now we're on year 4 of 30. So we're still in the draw period. So we're still inside 10 years. Okay. Now, on the Regions personal loan, right now we are in year 1 of 3. Okay. We're doing a scenario for a single mom. Her income, she's on a bi-weekly pay period. She get paid on the 4th, and the next paycheck won't come 14 days later on the 18th. And the total for the 2 paychecks, $5,510.35. Her expenses, $5,112.35. The expense, America, that's when we add all these balances that we have on the board, every single one of them. Now, out of these expenses, $3,651 could go on a credit card. Okay? These are the expenses that could go on a credit card. Electricity could go on a credit card. Water could go on a credit card. YouTube TV credit card. Netflix credit card. T-Mobile credit card. Property tax credit card. Property insurances. So that'll be for the property insurance and for the car insurance. The two insurances combined could go is 140. The total could go on a credit card. Groceries could go on a credit card. Fuel could go on a credit card. Dining out, restaurant could go on a credit card. Beauty and skincare could go on a credit card. Clothes and shoes could go on a credit card. And when you add them up, the total is $3,651. Okay? Now, single mom, her debt, $35,979.06. The debt, that's when you add all these balances that we have on the board. $5,580, $19,500, $10,899.06. The total, $35,979.06. Okay? And her cash flow, America, remember from prior lesson that cash flow is the relationship between the income and the expense. That relationship calls for a subtraction operation, $5,510.35 minus $5,112.35. That's how we arrive at $398 in cash flow. Okay? All right, America, I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at what's on the board, and then we're going to start with the exercise. All right, America. Remember from prior lesson that Ambroise Method calls for a series of steps, and those steps have to be taken at least once a month. And the step, for those of you who missed that lesson, segregate, compare, transfer. And from past lesson, we went over all the different type of transfers. We have normal balance transfer. That's a transfer between same account type, for example, a revolving credit account and another revolving credit account. We have mix and match balance transfers. For our purpose, America, a mix and match balance transfer is a transfer between different account types. For example, a revolving credit account and an installment credit account. Then we have artificial type of balance transfers. Okay? Plastic, Melio or Melio, similar entities, Ambroise's charge pay technique, inducement, Ambroise charge pay technique, normal. These are all our artificial type of balance transfers. And then we repeat, okay? So we might have some condition, exception, or restrictions, and then cash flow or large payment, and we have to insert the what, WHT. W, which account, H, how much of a payment to send, and T, to pay down or off which debt. And again, America, the steps for Ambroise Method: segregate, compare, transfer, repeat, cash flow or large payment, and then we have to insert the what, WHT. W, which account or accounts to use, H, how much of a payment to send to these accounts, and T, to pay down or off which debt. And again, America, these are the steps for Ambroise Method, and those steps have to be taken at least once a month. Okay? All right, America. Now let's segregate. The way we segregate, America, we segregate by same account type. Okay? That's looking at the list of debt. Wells Fargo credit card, that's a credit card, so that's revolving credit account. PenFed ELOC, the PenFed is in the draw period, so the PenFed is revolving credit account. Remember, when the ELOC, America, is not in the draw period, it is no longer considered a revolving credit account. You'll fall under the installment category. But in this particular example, PenFed ELOC, we're in year 4 of 30, so we're still inside 10 years. Okay? It is revolving. Okay? So far we have 2 revolving, and we have Regions personal loan. Now that's an installment credit account. Okay? So we have 2 revolving and 1 installment. Okay? And again, the way I like to segregate, I like my revolvings on top. So we have 2 revolving, they are on top, and I like my installment credit account at the bottom. We have 1 installment credit account, which is the Regions personal loan. It's at the bottom. Okay? So America, as far as segregation, the list is perfect. To save time, I've already rearranged the list. Okay? Next, America, we compare. And the way we compare by APR between account types. Remember, we have two revolving and one installment. So between the two revolving, and I like the higher APR on top, and I like the lower APR at the bottom. So between the two, 18 is higher or bigger than 10, so 18 is listed first. Okay? Then I have my installment at the bottom. Okay? And if we had more installment, we'll compare by APR, but in this case, we only have one installment, so it's at the bottom by itself. Okay? So the two revolving by higher APR, and the installment will do the same by higher APR, but in this case, we only have one installment. Okay? So, and again, to save time, I already rearranged the list, so the list is perfect. Okay? So next, America, we transfer. And the way we transfer America, we always try to relocate balances on a debt that has a higher APR. Okay? There goes the balance, the debt with the higher APR, that's Region's personal loan. So we're always trying to relocate balances on a debt that has the higher APR to a debt that has a lower APR. Okay, the debt with the higher APR, Region's personal loan. The debt with the lower APR, PenFed ELOC. So we're gonna try to relocate balances from the regions, and we're gonna try to dump it into the PenFed. Okay, that's how we do our transfer from absolute highest APR to absolute lowest APR. Okay, generally, because we do have some exceptions, but generally that's how we do our transfer. Okay. All right, America. So now let's do let's do a transfer. First, we're gonna figure out how much we have available on the PenFed ELOC. The PenFed ELOC, America, credit limit is $26,000. And on our method, we are extremely aggressive. We go close to 100%. But in this particular example, we're going to go 98%. So 26,000 times 98% to see how much we have available for a transfer. Okay. So it'll be 26,000 times 98%. So we are at 25,480. And again, folks, for those of you who do not know what you're doing, do not go that high. Don't go that, stay in the 80s, stay in the 90s, low 90s of the credit limit. Do not go as high as 98% if you do not know what you're doing, okay? But for us, okay, we go as high as 98%. If later on we have to make some adjustment, we'll make some adjustment. But from the get-go, we like to go as high as we could, okay? 98% in this particular example, okay? But single mom already owe 19,500 on the PenFed ELOC, so 25,480 minus 19,500 to see how much we have available for a transfer, okay? So now we have 25,480 minus 19,500. Okay, so now America, we have $5,980 available for a transfer. Okay, and again, America, we always trying to relocate balances from a debt that has a higher APR to a debt that is a lower APR, okay? So we're gonna try to relocate out of the 10,899.06, we're gonna try to relocate $5,980 off of it, okay? All right, and then later on, we're going to dump it into the PenFed ELOC, okay? All right, America. So now let's run some numbers. Okay. Wells Fargo. Credit card. Right now, we are not dealing with Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo going to stay the same, so 6,000. APR for Wells Fargo, 18%. Balance owed for Wells Fargo, 5,580. Monthly payment charge, 139.50. And again, we are not touching Wells Fargo right now. Availability, 420. Credit utilization, 93%. And payment rate charge, 250. Okay. Next, we have PenFed HELOC. Credit limit, 26,000. APR, 10%. Balance owed. Now, we're going to write a check from the PenFed. We'll send the funds to the region's personal loan. Okay? But if we have some kind of restriction on the PenFed HELOC, the way it's going to work, we write a check. We'll not write a check, we'll make a transfer from the PenFed, and put that on the board, from the PenFed HELOC to the checking account. Okay? And from the checking account, okay, we'll make a payment to the region's personal loan. Okay? And the payment will be for $5,980. Okay? So depends how the PenFed HELOC is set up. Okay? So you could do the transaction directly from the PenFed HELOC for $5,980 and send it to Region's personal loan. Okay? Or you could do a transfer from PenFed HELOC to your regular checking account, and from the checking account you make the payment to the Region's personal loan, and the payment will be for $5,980. Okay? For that reason, PenFed HELOC will get increased by $5,980. Okay? So current balance is $19,500 plus $5,980. Okay? $19,500 plus 5,980. We are, for the PenFed now, we have a total balance of $25,480. Okay? Monthly payments charge on a PenFed HELOC, it is an interest only. And by the way, folks, even though it's an HELOC, not every HELOC, they are not all interest only. Some of them, some lenders do require principal and interest, but for this particular one, it's interest only. Okay, they are not always interest only, folks. Okay, so 25,000, but most of them are interest only, or some of them are interest only. 25,480 times 10% for the year divided by 12 for the month. So that's how we arrive at $212.33. Okay. All right, availability. Availability, America is credit limit minus balance owed, so 26,000 minus 25,480. We are 520. Okay. And credit utilization, we did say we're going all the way to 98%, but let's run it just for good measure. Credit utilization is balance owed divided by credit limit. So 25,480 divided by 26,000. Okay, we are at 98% like we knew he was. Okay, and payment rate charge should be the same, but let's run it just for good measure. Payment rate charge is monthly payment charge to 1233 divided by balance owed 25,480. Okay, and it is 0.83% like we knew it was. Okay. All right. Next is the Regions personal loan. The credit limit 12,000. APR 29.99. Balance owed. Now, we did say we're gonna send a payment from the PenFed. We're gonna send a payment for 5,980 to the Regions personal loan. So Regions personal loan will get decreased by 5,980. So it'll be 10,899.06 minus 5,980. Okay. Now Regions personal loan new balance now is 4,919.06. Okay. Monthly payment charge, it is an installment loan, a personal loan, so the monthly payment charge will stay the same. 509.35. Okay. Availability not applicable. Credit utilization not applicable. And payment rate charge, let's put it on the board, 467%. Okay. All right, America, to recap. Okay. We want to see how much we have on the lower APR account for transfer. And on our method, we are extremely aggressive. We go as high as 98%. Okay. And again, folks, if you don't know what you're doing, do not go that high. Okay. Stay in the 80s, stay in the 90s. Okay. But for us, since we know that these things are being computed, especially in the case of, I'll cover that much later during the lesson. So 26,000, which was the credit limit, times 98%, we had 25,480. But single mom already owe 19,500. So 25,480 minus 19,500. So we only have 5,980 available for a transfer. Okay? So we're gonna transfer that amount, which means PenFed ELA gonna get increased by that amount, and their destination account, which is Regions personal loan, will get decreased by that amount. Okay, so 19,500 got increased by 5,980, so 19 plus 5,980 on the PenFed. So now we're at 25,480. Regions personal loan got decreased by that amount, so 10,899.06 minus 5,980. So now we're at $4,919.06. Okay? All right, America. I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at what's on the board, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. All right, America. Now going back to the steps. We've done one transfer. Is there opportunity for us, America, to repeat? And by the way, this transfer was a mix and match transfer. It was a transfer between a PenFed which is a revolving credit account in this example because we're in a draw period, and a personal loan, which is an installment credit account. So a mix and match. Okay, so it's a transfer, mix and match transfer. Again, for our purpose, it's a transfer between a revolving credit account, which is the PenFed ELOC, and an installment credit account, which is the Regions personal loan. Okay. All right. Is the opportunity for us to repeat the transfer. All right. Let's take a look. PenFed ELOC. We're done with PenFed. Now, again, folks, we're always trying to relocate balances on a debt that has a higher APR to a debt that has a lower APR. Well, 29.99 is higher than 18, so can we relocate some of, we're here now, some of the 4,919 to the Wells Fargo credit card now, because we're done with PenFed. Okay? America, when we take a look at Wells Fargo availability is only 420, okay? And the credit utilization, 93%, okay? The monthly payments charge, $139.50, okay? We don't have too much in the available column, only 420, okay? So the Wells Fargo one is too close to saturation point. So that reason, we are not going to use the Wells Fargo, okay? Now, which means we are done now, America, with transfer, okay? And now, America, since we are done with all of the items that are above the line, there goes the line, America. We cannot do any more transfer, okay? And since all the items that are above the line have been completely exhausted, cannot do any more transfer, America. Now we could go below the line. We could go downstairs, okay? And below the line, we have to answer some questions, okay? Can we use cash flow? Or can we make a large payment? Okay? America, single mom during this period did not receive any income tax refund. Single mom during this period did not receive any bonus check. Single mom during this period did not receive any additional funds or money that would constitute or represent a large payment. So we do not have any large payment. So in this case, we're going to be dealing with cash flow. Okay? So now, America, let's figure out how much our new cash flow is. Okay? And the way we determine our cash flow, we take a look at the original monthly payments charge minus the new monthly payments charge. Okay? Or we could only do the formula for the transaction that were affected. And the only two accounts that were affected was PenFed ELOC. You went from 162.50 to 12.33. Regions personal loan stays the same, 509.35, 509.35. Wells Fargo credit card, 139.50, 139.50. So the only account really truly that got affected is a PenFed ELOC. Okay. So it would be the old amount, 162.50, minus the new amount, 212.33. Okay. So now looks like we have a decrease of 49.83. Okay. which means now that our new cash flow is, originally it was 398, it got decreased by 49.83, so it'll be 398 minus 49.83. Now our new cash flow is 348.17. Okay. All right. Now, America, that we've determined what our new cash flow is, now let's answer the rest of the rest of the questions. Okay. W, which account or accounts to use. Okay. America, on our method, we have two different type of users. Okay. We have what we call a normal user, and we have what we call an advanced user. Okay. And remember, America, when you're paying off debt, you're gonna come across three main elements, three main assignments, three main jobs. And these elements, these assignments, these jobs are transfer, alternative account, and cash flow. Okay? All right. Now, for a normal user only uses transfer, takes advantage of transfer, takes advantage of cash flow. Okay? And an advanced user take advantage of everything that we have on the board. An advanced user uses transfer, an advanced user uses alternative account, an advanced user uses cash flow. And again, America, on our method, Ambroise Method, we have these two different type of users. Okay? Normal user and an advanced user. Okay? Now, America, if you fall under the normal user category, obviously you're gonna be using transfer. We just did transfer. And you're gonna try to take advantage of cash flow. Okay? So for a normal user, after you've done those transfers, okay? And all those transfers has been exhausted. Okay? Then you're gonna try to use cash flow. Okay? And a normal user uses the regular checking account to pay off debt. The way it's gonna work after you've done transfer, which we've done earlier, okay? As the income start coming in, you're gonna dump all that income into the checking account, and you're gonna use the checking account to pay off debt, okay? And any excess that you have left over, the excess gonna go to the account that is the higher APR. In this example, it will be the Regent's personal loan, because Regent's personal loan, the APR is 29.99. Okay? And again, folks, for a normal user, after you've done all the transfers, okay? This is all the transfers that we have. Okay? You cannot do any more transfers. Then as the income or the paychecks start coming in, okay, you're gonna dump the income in your regular checking account, okay? Then you're gonna use the funds from the checking account to pay off debt, okay? Any excess that you have left over, okay, you're going to send it towards the account with the higher APR, which is Regent's personal loan, okay? All right. But now, America, we're doing a scenario for an advanced user. Okay. For an advanced user, America, we always look for three main accounts. Okay. The first one is first in line, or the account that offer greater results. In terms of reducing interest cost. Okay. And on our method for an advanced user, we always look for the next in line or the account for greater liquidity. Okay. And the third and final account we normally look for an advanced user is the alternative account for movements of income and movements of expenses. Okay. All right. So now let's figure out how it counts. The first in line or the account for greater results is, in terms of reducing interest costs, is generally the account that has the higher APR. Okay. On our example, the account with a higher APR is the Regions personal loan. So that'll be Regions. Okay. Next, the next in line account, or the account that offers greater liquidity. Well, let's take a look. Wells Fargo is a credit card, so, and we did say the bills, expenses that could go on a credit card is $3,651 when the expense is a lot higher. So the credit card is limited. So the credit card cannot offer us greater liquidity. Wells Fargo could not offer us greater liquidity. Regions personal loan, it's a personal loan, cannot offer us liquidity. Okay. Now, PenFed ELOC, it is a home equity line of credit, and we are in a draw period, year 4 of 30, so we're still inside 10 years. Okay. So we could use it and reuse the PenFed ELOC, and not only that, we could easily move money, in and out of the PenFed ELOC. So for that reason, America, PenFed ELOC will offer us greater liquidity. Okay. And finally, we look for the alternative account for movements of income and movement of expenses. Okay, well, let's take a look. Regions personal, let's start with Regions first. Regions personal loan is a personal loan, so it's not an alternative account. Because remember, folks, an alternative account is an account that behaves similarly to a checking account. So you can make the, income goes in, expenses goes out, or deposit comes in, withdrawal goes out. Okay. Regions personal loan is a personal loan. Okay. You could send income to that account, but you cannot pay bills with the Regions personal loan. So it's not an alternative account. Okay. Because we're looking for movement of income and expenses. Okay. Income could go in a Regions personal loan, but expenses cannot go up, You cannot use the region's personal loan to make payments, okay? Or to pay for something. So region is a no-go. PenFed ELOC. PenFed ELOC is a home equity line of home equity line of credit. You could easily have movement of income and movement of expenses in the PenFed ELOC. Okay? So PenFed ELOC could be a choice. Okay? Then we have the Wells Fargo credit card. Okay? Wells Fargo is a credit card. Of course, you could have movement of income and expenses inside a credit card. Okay? So now we have Wells Fargo as another possible choice. Okay? So we have two accounts that we could choose for this movement of income and movement of expenses. Okay? And remember, folks, for our method, the account that we use for movement is generally the account with the higher APR. Not always, because we do have some exception, but it's generally the account with the higher APR. Well, let's take a look. PenFed is at 10%. Wells Fargo is at 18%. Okay? So for our movement, and again, it is generally the alternative account with the higher APR. PenFed again is at 10%. Wells Fargo is at 18%. Okay? So now the account with the higher APR is Wells Fargo. So for that reason, we're going to use Wells Fargo America for movement. Okay? Of income and movement of expenses. All right, so now we have our three accounts. And again, just to review, our first in line or the account for greater results is generally with the account with the higher APR. Well, when we take a look at the list, Regions Personal Loan has the higher APR. The account, the next in line, or the account for greater liquidity, well, PenFed ELOCs offer greater liquidity between the accounts that are on the list. So PenFed ELOC for liquidity. And the alternative account for movement of income and expenses, okay, it is generally the account with the higher APR, while Regions Personal Loan has the higher APR, but Regions Personal Loan is a personal loan. You cannot have movement of income and movement of expenses inside a personal loan, okay? So this one got disqualified, so now we were left with these two, Wells Fargo and PenFed, okay? And again, for movement, we generally look for the account that has a higher APR. Between those two, Wells Fargo has the higher APR, okay? And again, for this movement, it is generally the account with the higher APR. There are some exceptions. For example, if you're trying to take advantage of cashback rewards, stuff like that. And another exception could be if you're trying to consolidate due date, what I call consolidations of due date. Okay, and I'll probably do an example on that somewhere down the road because these are more advanced type of items. Okay, so I want to make sure you guys get the foundation first before I start introducing all the different scenarios. Okay, when we have cashback, should we take advantage of the cashback? Should we not take advantage of the cashback? These are good stuff, America. Down the road, when I start doing these lessons, I'll cover that aspect of it. But for now, I want to make sure that you guys get the foundation first, okay? But don't worry, America, I'm coming. All right, America, I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at what's on the board real quick, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. All right, America. Now, we have 3 accounts. Okay? Which accounts? Remember, we have to answer the questions. Which accounts? So we have regions for greater results. We have PenFed for greater liquidity. And we have Wells Fargo for movements of income and movements of expenses. All right. We have 3 accounts. Again, regions for greater results, PenFed for greater liquidity, and Wells Fargo for movements. All right. So now the next question is how much to send to these accounts. All right. So now let's figure out our numbers. Okay. So we have the regular monthly payment, and we're gonna have bills that could go on a credit card. And I have other bills or the remainder bills that could not go on a credit card. Okay. And we have cash flow. Then we have possibly absorption or absorption opportunity. And that will be the total here. Okay, America? All right. Regions personal loan. Regions regular payment is, let's see, there goes the regions, 50935. Okay. Bills that could go on a credit card. Regions is not a credit card, so Regions won't have that. PenFed is not a credit card, so PenFed cannot have that. Bill Wells Fargo is a credit card, so bills that could go on a credit card, we said there were 3,651. So 3,651. Okay. Others, let's skip that for now. Cash flow, we say our new cash flow was 348.17. And remember, America, that cash flow is better served in the account with the higher APR, while the account with the higher APR is Regions personal loan. Okay? Because when we send payment to the higher APR account, okay, we have greater result, we achieve greater results in terms of reducing interest cost. So cash flow will go to Regions personal loan. And we say our cash flow is 348.17. And absorptions, let's leave that alone for now. Okay. Now let's come down to PenFed ELOC. PenFed ELOC. Regular monthly payment for the PenFed is $212.33. Okay. Now, this is done, this is done. We have the other category that we're not done with. Now, other remainder bills that could not go on a credit card. Remember, America, we said for the credit card, only 3,651 could go on a credit card. So any remainder that couldn't go on the credit card, the account that offers greater liquidity, which is PenFed ELOC, will take care of those. Okay. So let's figure out what are the other bills, remainder bills that could not go on a credit card. Single mom total income in America is $5,510.35. 5,510.35 minus all these amounts. 509.35 minus 348.17 minus 212.33 minus 3651 minus, and the minimum monthly payment for the Wells Fargo is $139.50. $139.50. 3651 minus 139.50. Okay, so remainder bills that could not go on a credit card, we are at 650. Okay, all right. So now, America. Earlier, we skipped absorption. Okay? On the PenFed ELOC, America, we have two amount going to the PenFed ELOC. 212.33, which is the monthly payment charge. Then we have 650, which is other bills. Remember, bills that could not go on a credit card. Okay? Because PenFed ELOC, remember, offer greater liquidity. Okay? And again, America, we have two different amounts going to the PenFed ELOC. Okay? PenFed ELOC is at 10%. America, we do not want to send too much payment to a 10% account when we have a 29.99% account on the board, when we have an 18% account on the board. Okay? So for that reason, the account that offers greater results, which is Regions Personal Loan, will absorb one of the two amounts. Okay? But which amount will you absorb? 212.33, 212.33. 650 are the remainder bills or expenses that could not go on a credit card. Okay? The daughter's allowance, $50, could not go on a credit card, and the car payment, $600, could not go on a credit card. That's how we arrive at that 650. $50 plus 600. Okay? Now, when we send $650 payment to the PenFed ELOC, okay, that 650 large enough, big enough to cover the 212.33, which is the minimum payment on the PenFed ELOC. Okay, so which means once we send that large of a payment, that 212.33 America will be satisfied. So for that reason, there wouldn't be a need for us to send an additional 212.33 to an account that's at 10% when we have a 29.99% account on the board. Okay? For that reason, America, Regions Personal Loan will absorb the 212.33. Okay? And again, folks, we don't want to send too much payment to a lower APR account when we have a higher APR account on the board. Okay? So that is why the higher APR account absorbs the additional payment. Okay? All right? That was one absorption. Now, America, is there an opportunity for us to do another absorption? Okay? Well, let's find out. Wells Fargo has two amounts. We have two amounts going to the Wells Fargo. $139.50 which is the minimum payment on the Wells Fargo. Then we have $3,651, which represent bills, expenses that could not go on, bills, expenses that could go on a credit card. These are all the bills, expenses that could go on a credit card. Okay. And again, America Wells Fargo has two different amounts. Okay. When we send $3,651 to the Wells Fargo, that $3,651 America will satisfy the $139.50. Okay. So there wouldn't be a need again for us to send additional payment to an account that's at 18% when we have a 29.99% account on the board. Okay. So for that reason, America, Regions Personal Loan, which is the account with the higher APR, will absorb one of these two amounts, and the amount that it will absorb will be the $139.50. All right. Okay. So now let's find out our total. Let's do Wells Fargo first. 139 got moved to Regions, so now Wells Fargo will keep only $3,651. Okay. PenFed ELOC 212 got moved over, so PenFed ELOC will keep only $650. Okay. And Regions Personal Loan, let's find out how much Regions Personal Loan will keep. So we have 509.35 plus 348.17 plus 212.33 plus 139.50. Okay. So Regions Personal Loan will get $1,209.35. Okay. These are our numbers, America. So how much? So Regions Personal Loan will get $1,209.35. PenFed will get $650. And Wells Fargo $3,651, which were bills that could go on a credit card. Okay. All right. And last and final question, America, to pay down or off which debt? Okay. That will be the workflow. Okay. Single mom get paid on the 4th. And the next paycheck will come on the 18th. Okay. And the total for the two paychecks, $5,510.35. America, let's assume that the two paychecks are equal. So 5, 5, 10, 35 divided by 2. So on the paycheck, that will be on the 4th, it will be $2,750. $55.17. So let's round up to 18. And the next paycheck will be $2,755. Let's call that one 17. Okay. Now on the first paycheck, America. Paycheck touched down the checking account. So now where does the money go? Okay. In this example, we're dealing with three separate accounts. Okay. So we're dealing with regions. We're dealing with PenFed. And we're dealing with Wells Fargo. Okay. Run it out of regions. PenFed and Wells Fargo. Okay. All right, let's figure out numbers. On the first paycheck, we have $2,755.18. That amount touched down the checking account. Where does the money go? Okay. This is when, America, you have to pay attention to the due date, especially for bills, expenses that you need cash or cash equivalent for. Okay. Electricity, water, YouTube, TV, Netflix, T-Mobile, property tax, insurance, groceries, fuel, restaurant, beauty and skincare, clothes and shoes, they could all go on the credit card. And the credit card is Wells Fargo. Okay. All deals are due on the 28th. That's towards the end of the month, but that should not create any problem. Single mom, she could do her groceries towards the end of the month. Okay. So that would not be a problem. Fuel doesn't have a due date. I guess she could decide to put fuel once a week in the vehicle, and the fuel will go on her credit card. Okay. Dining out, $280. I guess she could decide to go to the restaurant towards the end of the month. Okay. Beauty and skincare, I guess she could do her shopping for beauty and skincare towards the end of the month. Clothes and shoes, and again, she could do all of that towards the end of the month because these items doesn't have a due date. Okay. So all these could be done towards the end of the month. So that's not going to create any problem for us. Her daughter allowance, $50, is due on the 28th. And again, that's towards the end of the month. That's not going to create any problem for us. The car payment, the daughter allowance, this one you need cash or cash equivalent. So that's cash. The car payment, the servicer want cash or check. So that's cash or cash equivalent. Then going back to the daughter's allowance, again, it's due on the 28th for $50. That's not going to create any problem because it's towards the end of the month. Her car payment is due on the 25th, and again, that's towards the end of the month. That shouldn't create any problem. Wells Fargo is due on the 28th. The old amount was $139.50. The new amount for Wells Fargo is still $139.50, so that hasn't changed. Because we did not touch Wells Fargo. PenFed is due on the 12th. The old amount was $162.50. The new amount for PenFed is $212.33. Okay. This one is due on the 12th. Okay. So now, The paycheck on the 4th, America, will take care of everything between the 4th through the 17th, and the paycheck on the 18th will take care of everything between the 18th towards the end of the month. Okay? So now, going back to dispense fed is due on the 12th. So which means the first paycheck will take care of that, because 12 is between 4 and 17. Okay? So we have to reserve at least 212.33 on the first paycheck. Okay? So pen fed 212.33. Okay? All right. Now regions is doing the 28th. That's towards the end of the month. That should not create any problem for us. And the old amount was 509.35. The new amount is still 509.35. Okay. All right. So we don't have no issue with bills that are coming up due. The only one will be the pen fed. So on the first paycheck, we're gonna at least send 212.33 to take care of this pen fed that's coming up due on the 12th. Okay? Because if we wait on the second paycheck, we're going to be late, because the second paycheck is on the 18th. Okay? The 12th is before the 18th. So we have to take care of the pen fed, America, on the first paycheck. Okay? All right. Now, which means now that regions, because remember, regions is at offer greater results. So regions has priority over the Wells Fargo. So let's take care of the regions first. And again, America, regions is at 29.99. Wells Fargo is at 18%. So we have to take care of regions first, because regions offer greater results. Okay. For regions, we need $1,209.35. Okay. The paycheck is $2,755.18. $2,755.18 minus the 212.33. Okay. We still have enough to cover the regions, and regions is only 1209.35. So regions will accept the entire 1209.35. Okay. And Wells Fargo will get the remainder, which is 1333.55 on the first paycheck. Okay. All right, so now let me double check my number, making sure I did not make any mistake. When you add these three up, so which means the checking account will keep 0, we should arrive at 2,755.18. So let's find out. 1209.35 plus 212.33 plus 1333.55. $1209.35 27.55.18 minus 1209.35 minus 212.33 minus 1335, 13350. Okay. Again, America, let me double check my number one more time, making sure I did not make any mistake. 120935 plus 21233 plus 133350. Sure enough, $2,755.18. Perfect. All right, so that was on the first paycheck, okay? Now on the next paycheck, America, which is on the 18th, money touched down the checking account. Where does the money go? Okay. Regions received 1209.35, which is the entire amount. Okay, so on the second paycheck, Regions not going to receive anything. Regions will keep 0. Okay. PenFed needs to have 650. But PenFed only received 212.33 on the first paycheck. So PenFed will receive the remainder. So it's 650 minus 212.33. Okay. So now PenFed will get 47. 4, 3, 7, 6, 7 on the second paycheck. Okay. In Wells Fargo needs to have total 3651, but Wells Fargo only received 1,333.50 on the first paycheck. So Wells Fargo now will receive the remainder, 3,651 minus $1,333.50. Okay. So now Wells Fargo will get on the second paycheck $2,317.50. Okay. And when we add these up, which means the checking account receives 0. When we add these two up, we should arrive to the $2,755.17. So let's run it. 437.67 plus 2317.150. 2755.17. Perfect. All right, America. Now our number is perfect. Okay. Now, going back, electricity, all these could go on a credit card. So the Wells Fargo and the total is 3,651. So the Wells Fargo will take care of those. So electricity, Wells Fargo will take care of that. Wells Fargo, 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 Wells Fargo. Okay? All these could go on a credit card, America. Wells Fargo will take care of all of these. Okay? The daughter allowance is due on the 28th. You need cash. She got single mom going to Zelle that $50 to her daughter on the 28th. Okay? So the PenFed will take care of that. So that'll be PenFed. Okay. Car payment is due on the 25th for $600. You need cash or check for that. So PenFed will also take care of that. So the total $650. Okay. 600 plus $50, $650. Okay. Wells Fargo will accept $139.50. That's that $139.50 was. Okay. PenFed, $212.33. When you send $650, that $650 will satisfy this $212. And Regions will keep the $509.35. Okay. All right. Now, the way it's gonna work for the bills, expenses that you need cash or cash equivalent for. Okay. Those are on the 28th. So on the 28th, you're gonna move the money from PenFed back to the checking account on the 28th. Okay? And for $50. Okay? And that will take care of the daughter's allowance. And again, America, this item you need cash or cash, you need cash for. Okay? So daughter's allowance. Okay? And the car payment is due on the 25th. So on the 25th, you're gonna move the money from, let's assume there's some restrictions in the PenFed ELOC. So on the 25th, from PenFed back to the checking account for $600, and you'll send that to the servicer for the car payment. Okay. All right. And again, folks, the Wells Fargo will take care of all of these on the due date. Okay, so the next bill is the dollar allowance. The PenFed will take care of that, and it is going to work on the 28th, which is when the dollar allowance is due. On the 28th, move $50 from the PenFed to the checking account, and from the checking account, she could sell the money to her daughter's account, okay, on the 28th. So that'll take care of that. The car payment is due on the 25th, okay? PenFed will take care of that. So, and again, you're gonna move the money from PenFed back to the checking account for $600, and then from the checking account, you'll perform the transaction to the servicer for the car. Okay. Now, Wells Fargo is due on the 28th. That's towards the end of the month for $139.50. When we send $1,333.50, that amount is larger than $139. So that amount on the first paycheck will take care of this Wells Fargo. Okay. PenFed $212.33. When we send $212.33 on the first paycheck to PenFed, that $212.33 will take care of this PenFed. Okay. And regions 509.35. Okay. When we send $1,209.35 to the regions on the first paycheck, $1,209.35 is larger than $509.35. So this $1,209.35 will take care of the regions on the 28th. Okay. All right. Now we have for the PenFed $50, 600, and $212.33. But we only have $650 going to the PenFed. Okay. Remember the ways those alternative account works, America. Okay. When we send $212.33, or the original $212.33, that satisfied this one. Okay. And later on, we're going to send an additional $437.67 for a grand total of $650. Now this grand total gonna take care of the daughter allowance and the car payment. Okay? Because remember, it's a PenFed ELOC. You could use the money and reuse the money. Okay? And you could easily move money out of the PenFed ELOC. Okay? That's how those alternative account works. Alright? Alright, America. I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at this real quick, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. All right, America. Quick observation. PenFed ELOC. On the region loan, personal loan, we have not one absorption opportunity, but we have two absorption opportunities. So that is two. Absorption Opportunities. Okay? Nobody in America is teaching you that kind of stuff. Okay? This is a process that I call shock and awe while paying off debt. Put that right here. America. Initially, we have 10,899.06 in the region's personal loan. Okay. We reduced that 10,899.06 to 4,919.06. Okay. And that 4,000 gonna get reduced by an additional $1,209.35. So after everything's said and done, the region's personal loan will have a balance of, that's regions, $4,919.06 minus $1,209.35. Okay, so let's see how much that is. We got 4,919.06 minus 1209.35. The regions will have a remaining balance of $3,709.71. Okay. America, we started out at 10,899.06. In less than 1 month, about 1 month, we're gonna reduce that 10,000 all the way, America, to $3,709.71. Okay. As you could see, America, we don't toy around with the debt like the other debt repayment groups are doing. Debt snowball, debt avalanche, velocity banking. Okay? We don't toy around with the debt, wasting your time sending cash flow to lower APR account in the case of debt snowball, sending cash flow to higher APR account in the case of debt avalanche. In the case of velocity banking, these folks, they practice favoritism. So, chunking, using debt weapon on the wrong account, and keeping cash flow for whichever account that they used to chunk out of. Okay? All these groups are America, debt snowball group, debt avalanche group, velocity banking group. Again, they are toying with the debt. They're just playing with the debt. Here over at Ambroise Method, we aggressively go after the debt and trying to get rid of the thing. Okay? And again, folks, initially we started at $10,899.06. In less than 1 month, we bring that $10,000 balance all the way to $3,709.71. Okay? What we're trying to bring the region's personal loan, which is the account with the higher APR. Look at that APR, almost 30%. Okay? We're trying to bring this region's personal loan, and that region is the biggest enemy. That region's personal loan is the troublemaker. We're trying to bring this region's personal loan, America, into submission. Okay? Just like I mentioned from a prior lesson, we want this region, personal loan, to raise its white flag of surrender. Look at how much money we reduced the region ELOC by again, from $10,899.06 all the way to $3,709.71. As you could see, all those years you've been using that snowball. All those years, America, you've been using that avalanche. For all those years you've been using Velocity Bank in America, you have been paying off debt incorrectly. Okay? So now that you know better now, America, move over to Ambroise Method. Okay? This process, when I have the opportunity to use two absorptions, okay, and sending cash flow to the higher APR debt, I refer to that process, America, as shock and awe while paying off debt. This is what we refer to as the wisdom of Solomon. The wisdom of Solomon while paying off debt. The wisdom has not died, America. Wisdom is still alive. The wisdom of Solomon while paying off debt. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. All right, America. I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at what's on the board, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. All right, America. Let me quickly put on the board some of the strategies and technique that we use over at Ambroise Method. Okay. I'll try my best to remember them all. There are so many. First, America, we have Ambroise's partitioning a balance. We have Ambroise's wash technique. We have Ambroise's charge pay technique. And we have two variations of this one. We have normal and inducement. So Ambroise's charge pay technique, normal. And we have best of both worlds. today we've done not one but two absorption opportunities. So one, two absorption opportunities. We have shock and awe. And we have two alternative account simultaneously. And we have three alternative account simultaneously. Let's stop right here. At least these are the ones I could remember. Again, America, on our method, these are some of the strategies and techniques that we use for our method. Ambroise is partitioning a balance, which is to divide the balance into at least two separate parts, where one of the parts will equal the other account we're trying to compare it with. Then we have Ambroise's wash technique. Ambroise's wash technique is a technique whereby the same dollar amount of income that comes into the alternative account is the same dollar amount of expenses that goes out of the alternative account. And all those items, by the way, were covered in those prior lessons, because we have 13 lessons and now start doing case studies after the lessons. And today is going to be case study number 2. Ambroise's charge pay technique inducement. Ambroise's charge pay technique inducement, America, for those of you who missed that lesson, it is a technique where you charge the lower APR account, then you pay the higher APR account. Okay? And by paying some form of inducement or fees. Okay? Ambroise charge pay technique normal is a detailed process where you charge the lower APR account, then you pay the higher APR account. Okay? And it doesn't matter if charge comes first or the pay comes second. The charge could come first or the pay could come first. Doesn't matter which order. Okay? Then we have best of both worlds. Best of both worlds is in the past how people with different mentalities, they don't want to pay a lower balance account that are on a low APR, so they want a lower balance account on a high APR, not a low APR. Okay? And that's how you achieve best of both worlds. In summary, okay. Then we have 2 absorption opportunities. Today we've done 2 absorption. 1, 2. Okay. Shock and awe. That is the process when we're able to bring an account to have 2 absorption opportunity plus cash flow, bunch of payments going to one single account, where we're trying to bring that account into submission. Okay? We want that account to raise its white flag of surrender. We call that process shock and awe while paying off debt. Okay? Two alternative accounts simultaneously. Today, we're using a PenFed ELOC, that's an alternative account, and we're using Wells Fargo, that's another alternative account. So we're using two alternative accounts simultaneously. So at the same time, we use not one, but two alternative accounts. By the way, I see one of my competitors talking about that you cannot use two alternative accounts simultaneously. Oh, there he is, America. There he is. 1, 2. So that's having movement of income and movement of expenses, not in just one alternative account, but in two separate alternative accounts at the same time, America. Okay? Then at some point I might do a lesson where I cover not two, but three alternative accounts simultaneously. One of my competitors was talking about you cannot use two. Not only I'm using two, but I'm gonna be using three. You know, maybe I'll do some kind of master class or something where I cover three alternative accounts simultaneously. Okay. As you can see, America, Ambroise Method is pregnant with numerous strategies and techniques. And by the way, these are only some of the ones I can remember. There are so many. Okay. To help you, America, in your fight against debt. And again, folks, by the grace of God, with all that knowledge, that's why we refer to America as the wisdom of Solomon while paying off debt. All right, America, I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at what's on the board real quick. And then we're going to continue with the exercise. All right, America, as you can see, the other debt repayment method will never ever be able to compete. Look at all the different things that we're doing. Things that were unheard of before we come into the scene. And today's date is January 17th, 2024. Okay. Again, America, my name is James Ambroise. I am the author, creator of Ambroise Method 1.0 and Ambroise Method 2.0. Ambroise Method is a revolutionary debt repayment method that offers greater results in terms of reducing interest cost compared to debt snowball, debt avalanche, velocity banking. Thank you, Jesus. Until next time, America. Good morning.